Right now at noon, the president goes around Congress to build his border wall. We'll tell you about his declaration of emergency. And 2 people are in custody accused of attacking an actor in Chicago. We'll tell you what we know about them. Plus, why Democratic Illinois lawmakers are reaching out to Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Friday lunch hour. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first let's head over to the Weather Center meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast. This is one of these days that looks better just to look out the window than go outside.
That's exactly right. We're going to start with a look out the window right now, Mark. Beautiful sunshiny blue skies out there, and it looks a whole lot warmer, folks, than it actually is, because the temperature is only 10 degrees, and that is an update as of noon. Just moments ago, the temperature was only 8. See, we're 30 degrees colder than we were just 24 hours ago. So yeah, Mother Nature surely reminding us that it is still February and still winter after all. 12 degrees as you work your way down towards Janesville. Juneau at 8 right now. Black River Falls at 11. Dubuque, Iowa at 6. A lot of those wind chills, though, are still below 0 because, yes, it is certainly chilly out there. And be mindful that those wind chills are going to be staying there as we go throughout the day. Temperature-wise, we'll top out in the teens this afternoon before falling back into the single digits overnight tonight. A little bit warmer for your Saturday, but those clouds are going to be on the increase ahead of our next chance of accumulating snow.
And that's coming on Sunday.
That's coming on Sunday. So, yeah, we have a lot to be breaking down, Mark, but nonetheless, the pattern, although it's a little bit more on the calm side, it's still staying at least somewhat active for us.
Oh, it's still February. All right, Chris, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you.
Right.
Well, Congress passed a spending bill late last night that keeps the government open and provides money for border security. President Trump is expected to sign the bill soon, but he's also taking action on his own to secure even more money to help build a wall along the southern border. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump is declaring a national emergency in order to get the money he says is needed to build a border wall.
I want to do it faster. I could do the wall over a longer period of time. I didn't need to do this, but I'd rather do it much faster.
The appropriations bill gives the president nearly $1.4 billion for border security. To that, he plans to add $600 million from the Treasury Department's drug forfeiture fund and $2.5 billion from the Pentagon's drug interdiction program. The emergency declaration frees up another $3.5 billion from the Department of Defense's military construction budget.
We have a chance of getting close to $8 billion. Whether it's $8 billion or $2 billion or $1.5 billion, it's going to build a lot of wall.
The White House says it's expecting and prepared for legal and congressional challenges to the president's emergency declaration.
Sadly, we'll be sued, and sadly, it'll go through a process, and happily, we'll win.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she will consider a number of options to combat the emergency declaration.
We will not have an end run around the Congress of the United States.
The House Speaker is reportedly considering a joint resolution disapproving of the declaration, which could force Republicans to go on the record with whether or not they support the president.
I do not see the grounds for declaring a national emergency. I think that's dubious from a constitutional perspective.
If Congress did pass a resolution, President Trump can still veto it. And Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And Democrats say they're also considering suing the president to stop him from implementing the national emergency. A woman convicted of reckless homicide in the 2007 death of a baby boy at her home daycare is asking a Dane County judge to grant her a new trial based on new evidence. Jennifer Hancock argues in her motion that medical testimony in her 2009 trial was so flawed that even the prosecution's lead medical expert no longer believes 4-month-old Lincoln Weber was a victim of abuse. The Wisconsin State Journal reports the 48-year-old Hancock is scheduled for release in about 3 years following her 13-year prison sentence. She's being represented by the Wisconsin Innocence Project, which filed a motion this week that says there is ample new evidence to overturn Hancock's conviction and order a new trial. Police are investigating reports of a person with a gun running from behind a Grant County home Thursday and a large amount of blood that was found in the snow at the home. Law enforcement responded to a report of suspicious activity at a residence on South Wilson Street near West Cherry Street in Lancaster. The resident had just returned home when they saw a person carrying a rifle running from their backyard to a vehicle. A large amount of blood was also found in the snow. The person ran to a black Chevy Impala. Several officers and agencies tried to locate the vehicle, but they were not able to. At this time, officials do not know if the blood found in the yard was human or not, and the case remains under investigation. Chicago police say the two men being questioned in the attack on Empire actor Jussie Smollett are considered suspects. A police spokesman says the men are in custody, but they have not yet been charged. Police have identified the men only as two Nigerian brothers. Police have been questioning them since they were picked up by officers at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport on Wednesday after returning to the city from Nigeria. Yesterday, police served a search warrant at their home. Attorney Gloria Schmidt says the suspects worked with Smollett on Empire and have spent time with him at the gym.
This is someone that they know. This is someone that they've worked with. On set, it's very tight. They're all very cordial with each other.
Local reports suggest the actor staged the attack looking for attention because his character was being written off Empire. Chicago police tweeted that reports about the incident being a hoax are unconfirmed by case detectives. 20th Century Fox also disputes reports, says that Smollett remains a core player on the show and the company stands behind him. Well, Illinois Democrats are asking Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers to reevaluate the environmental impact of a Foxconn Technology Group facility in Racine County. Illinois Democrats sent Evers a letter saying the facility's stormwater runoff could exacerbate flooding in the Des Plaines River watershed and affect communities in northeastern Illinois' Lake County. The Democrats want Evers' administration to conduct a stringent review of Foxconn's construction plans with a careful look at stormwater management. Republican lawmakers in Wisconsin exempted the facility from a host of environmental regulations. Evers has already pledged to review the facility's air pollution permit. Well, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. I'm next. We'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Grab your culinary passport and your appetite, because today we're making a dish from northern Italy. It's risotto, and it's creamy, easy to love, and so versatile. What do you say I share a recipe with you that in the past you may have been intimidated by? It's risotto, and it originates in northern Italy. Over the years, it's become crazy popular here in the States. And once you find out how easy it is to make, you'll wonder why you didn't make it sooner. The first thing you want to do is warm some chicken broth in a saucepan, and we'll come back to this in a sec. Now, in a large saucepan, we saute some onions and mushrooms in a little butter until they're tender. Then we stir in some arborio rice, garlic, and a bit of wine. And cook that until the wine is absorbed. Now here's the trick to making creamy risotto. Slowly add in the warm chicken broth, 1 cup at a time, stirring it until it's absorbed. Right before serving, stir in a bit more butter, some Parmesan cheese, parsley, and pepper, and it's done. See, I told you it was easy. And once you take your first forkful, I have a pretty good feeling that this will become part of your monthly dinner routine. You could even add some cooked shrimp or chicken to it. To get the recipe for our creamy mushroom risotto, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a Northern Italian way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thank you, Howard. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, a cold but sunny Friday across southern Wisconsin. Meteorologist Chris Reese will have your weekend forecast when we come back. Well, the U.S. and China are back for another round of bargaining, and NASA is aiming to land among the stars once again. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
Round 2 of another round of U.S.-China trade talks. An official Chinese news agency says negotiators from both sides will meet next week in Washington as the parties try and hammer out a deal ahead of a March 1st deadline for U.S. tariff hikes. The Trump Organization is halting plans to create 2 new hotel chains. President Trump's sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, who run the company, cited political attacks and negative media coverage in announcing the decision. The company had planned to create 2 budget and mid-price hotel chains in places where the president is popular. Pepsi swung to a profit in its latest quarter, but it is forecasting weaker annual profit. The snacks and beverage maker says it earned $6.85 billion on sales of $19.5 billion. It expects headwinds in 2019, though, citing a higher tax rate and currency fluctuations. And NASA has its sights set on the moon once again, and it could be as early as this year. Yesterday, the space agency said it intends to partner with private companies to land a U.S. spacecraft on the lunar surface, possibly by the end of 2019. NASA is aiming to start establishing a permanent presence on the moon as soon as possible. It involves an orbiting gateway around the moon, as well as new lunar landers and rovers. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Thank you, Diane. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials is up 350 points on those renewed China talks. The NASDAQ up 32 and the S&P 500 up 23. Let's check it out with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this sunny Friday.
Yeah, finally a little sun, not warm, but a little sun. Man, I'll tell you, talk about those China deals. Somebody at in the Trade Department and even in China, they're picking up a lot of frequent flyer miles because you're right, Mark. Agriculture is paying attention to what's happening in Beijing today. Next week, back in Washington, D.C. This morning, China's President Xi did meet with our U.S. trade delegation before they exited. That included conversations with U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer. Now, we're not getting any details out, but they said that it was a good, productive week in Beijing as far as negotiations. And now, like I said, talk about frequent flyer miles. Our U.S. staff's on their way back to the United States, and China will jump on a plane sometime Sunday or Monday and be back in Washington, D.C. later this week. So we'll just kind of keep monitoring things. On the midday, as far as markets, now the corn market is trading a little bit stronger. I just glanced while we were listening to our money report. So the corn and the beans are trending a little bit stronger. Maybe it's because of that China discussion. Maybe it's the fact that Monday is President's Day, so we're going into a 3-day weekend as far as traders are concerned. They got to even up some of those positions. We're also continuing to monitor any developments at all as far as implementation of the 2018 Farm Bill. I mentioned it yesterday. I'll say it again. Clock's ticking for some of the details we need on making decisions on things like crop insurance, which has a March 15th deadline. Wisconsin farmers up against it when it comes to the weather. Getting a lot of reports across social media of more barns that collapsed, especially up towards that Hillsboro area. A lot of farmers exchanging information on how to deal with it across social media. But remember, farm safety experts always saying, be careful, don't do it by yourself. And remember, snow coming off a roof moves pretty fast. Today, barrel, block, and AA butter prices all unchanged. So lackluster, if not non-existent trade session down in Chicago for our product prices. But like I said, Mark, they're just getting lined up for a 3-day weekend. We'll see how we close. That'll set the tone going into the weekend.
All right. We will see you on Tuesday, I guess.
Yep, that's right.
All right. Have a good long weekend.
Thank you,
Pam. Let's head over to the Weather Center now. Chris Reese with the weekend weather forecasts.
Yeah, Mark, the big story that we're noticing today is the change in temperature as opposed to yesterday. If you haven't stepped outside, you are certainly going to feel it. We are 30 degrees colder than we were 24 hours ago here in Madison, 31 degrees colder down in Janesville. And really, we're anywhere from about 20 to 30 degrees colder all across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures right now at 10 degrees. So yesterday at this time, it was 40. But now we are just now making it out of the single digits for the day. 9 degrees still in Juneau. Paris-Duchesne also still at 9 degrees. Decorah, Iowa at 5. Dubuque, Iowa at 6. And we are going to be keeping those colder temperatures around as we go through the day. Winds still coming out of the west at 8 miles per hour. And that's still one of those colder, drier winds coming in from the north and west, helping to funnel in that colder air. But it's also helping to keep us dry tonight and into tomorrow. Here's that dry conditions that I was just talking about. A lot of sunshine over parts of the state, some cloud cover back towards the south and west. That's where we have a little bit of light snow going through parts of Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, and into Missouri as we speak. but high pressure is in control for us. And that high pressure is keeping that sunshine around as that storm track is farther towards the south. So we're going to watch this snow disturbance actually begin to work its way towards the Ohio Valley as we go through the weekend. Places like Kentucky later on tonight will likely be getting in on a round of accumulating snow, which they have not seen a lot of this season so far. We're going to be staying dry, though, so that's good news, at least for now, because as we head into tomorrow night and into Sunday, that's when high pressure moves away and this next disturbance begins to move in, bringing another chance for some light snow to us here in south central Wisconsin. And that's going to hang around for a large chunk of your Sunday. In fact, let's go ahead and take you hour by hour through the weekend. Again, tonight, a fairly chilly night. Temperatures falling back down into the single digits. Sunshine and 20s for your Saturday. But here we are Saturday night and into Sunday morning. That's when we'll see some snow start to move in from the south and west. The heaviest snow will be to our south, but we're going to keep a lot of that light snow around really throughout the day on Sunday and into early Monday morning before we begin to get rid of that light snow. But when I say this is truly light snow, yes, it'll snow all day, but when all is said and done, we're really looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snow throughout the area. So for what it's worth, it's going to be a fairly minimal snowfall event. But even still, I mean, we're adding up the snow, folks, at this point at 40 inches for the season, already about 5 inches above average for the season. And we'll see where we end up. But so far, things are trending like this could be an above average snowfall year for us, which would be the first one we have seen in quite some time. So again, this afternoon, 15 degrees, those winds coming out of the northwest at 8 to 15, cooling down towards 2 degrees tonight. So it is going to be yet another cool night. Those snow chances, folks, do return, especially as we get you into Sunday. That could be a 1 to 3 inch snow. Another snow chance arrives as we head into Wednesday, and that could be a light accumulating snow as well. So even though things are more so on the quiet side, I cannot say that we are done with our snow chances. Temperatures will still be below average as well.
All right. It is February.
It is February, and winter is in place for the next 33 days.
At least.
Yeah, we've been counting.
All right, Chris, thank you. Ahead on
Anytime.
News 3 at noon, a dream is coming true for a very deserving boy in California. We'll have his story after this. Well, a California boy got to live out his dream thanks to the Sacramento Police Department. Adriana Moore went along for the ride.
We'll surprise him.
An early morning knock on the door from his hero.
How you doing? Good to see you. I got a surprise for you.
Elevated to a whole new level for 11-year-old Miller Greenfield, who's been dreaming of becoming a police officer for as long as anyone can remember.
That's his favorite sports team. It's not basketball or football or soccer, it's these guys.
At just 4 years old, Miller had a stroke. He was later diagnosed with dystonia deafness syndrome, a disease so rare there are only 7 documented cases of it in the world. But one look at that smile on Miller's face, it is clear suiting up in a tailor-made uniform for a day of police training makes him feel invincible.
He's just truly over the moon. So, yeah, I think he's going to be in that cadet uniform for the next year or so.
Bye, guys. There you go.
Friends and fellow students at Marymount Elementary School made sure to send him off in style.
He always has a positive attitude, even when things are rough. He seemed to love it. Like, we were all taking pictures. He was excited. He got to be with his sister Jackie and Chief Officer Han.
As we were driving, he's learning how to use the siren and the PA system. So we're just happy we can make his day.
I'll let you take the shot.
Once he got to the academy, Miller went through a crime scene simulator and target practice. He even cuffed a suspect wanted for stealing donuts, a major get other cadets lined up to congratulate him over.
Good job, Officer Miller. You saved the day, Officer Miller. Great job, bud.
An unforgettable experience, courtesy of SAC PD, helping a young boy look beyond his challenges and allowing him to soar.
Good for him. Congratulations. Chris has one final check of the forecast.
That's right, Mark, and it is still a cold day out there. Plenty of sunshine, though, so at least you don't have the gray skies. 15 degrees this afternoon, cooling down overnight tonight towards 2. And some of those colder spots will likely drop below 0. Accumulating snow on Sunday, we're looking at about 1 to 3 inches throughout the area.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.